This is Gemara Chulin, Daf Kuf Yud, and we're holding on to Kuf Yud Amar Aleph. We are 2 lines from the top. Baruch Hashem. We're back in our optimal recording opportunities over here, and B'siyata D'Shmaya, that should allow us to have all the Shirim and Mirtz Hashem back up to date in a timely fashion. I know today's was supposed to be back up on the right time, but okay. Slowly we are getting there, Emir to Hashem. So we pick it up, Kuf Yod Amid Aleph, 2 lines from the top. Kisalik Rav Elazar, Ashkiche Lezi'iri. Kisalik Rav Elazar, 1 second. Kisalik Rav Elazar, Ashkiche Lezi'iri Amarle. So he finds Ze'iri, and he says to him, Ikatana desnai l'Rav, is the Tana of the Brisa who learned like Rav, Kechal, in the case of Kechal, that it's going to be usher to roast it as here. Achve Rav Yitzchak bar Rav Dumi. So he found Rav Yitzchak bar Rav Dumi, Amar le, Ani lo shanisi loi, Kechal kol eker. And he denied the whole story. He said, I did not teach that there's any Isser by Kechal at all. Excuse me, he didn't deny. He said, I did not tell Rav there's any Isser in any case. And what happened? Rav Bika Matzah, literally he found the valley, V'gadar ba. And Rav Bika Matzah ba, V'gadar ba, and he made a fence around it. Rav Ikla litat lafush. Rav went to a place called Tat Lafish. And he heard a woman saying to a friend, how much milk do you need to cook a liter of meat? Oh, my Rav said, like, if you eat the basar v'chalav, says Rav, what in the world? Basar v'chalav! Basar v'chalav is aser. Yaakov v'kaser lehu kachali. So Rav heard this, and he was so perturbed by the exchange, and he came along, and he said, based off of here, Chal is aser. Another version of the story that just happened, Rav Kahana Masni Hachi, Rav Yossi bar Abba Masni, he learned as follows, I did. He didn't say I never taught him anything. He said, I did teach him a brisa, that a Chal that was roasted is us. However, I said a klap, not a stam kechal, a kechal of a menika, of a nursing animal, which of course is a lot more milk. And Rav Chia on his own went and learned the case of kechal stam, and that's what caused Rav to make this mistake. Rav and Rav Yitzchak bar Yosef v'kloi lebei Rav Papi aiti lekamayu tav shel de kechal. They brought in front of them a dish of kechal. Rav Yitzchak bar Yosef achal, Ravin lo yachal. So Rav Yitzchak bar Yosef ate it, but Ravin did not partake. Amar Abaye, Ravin tichla mailoi. Says Abaye, Ravin the tichala, the bereaved one, amailo tichol. It's referred to, says Rashi, Ravin had children that were nifter, Rachmana litzlan, during his lifetime. So mailo yachal, why did you not eat? Mechdi, Tibisu Rav Papi bar Ted Rav Yitzchak navcha voy. The wife of Rav Papi is the daughter of Yitzchak Navcha. Rav Yitzchak Navcha Mari Dovda Avoyim. Yitzchak Navcha is Mari Dovda. He's very meticulous. He loved the Shamalei Mebeit Nasha Lavi Avda. If not for the fact that he heard from his father's her father's house that it's a mutter, she would never have made such a dish. So he wanted to know Lamaisa of Adam. It is mutter to eat it. Besura continues the Gemara, different minhagim. What exactly, how they feared, how they acted with Kachal. About 12 lines from the white lines in Surah Layachli Kachli, but Medisa they did Achli Kachli. Rami Bar Tamri, Rami Bar Tekule, Medisa, that's who he was. Ekla Surah B'Male Yema Dekipura. He visited Surah and Erev Yom Kippur, everyone brought out their Kachal, the Shadinu, and they threw it into the street. They were eating a lot of the halacha, of course. You have to have a Suda on Erev Yom Kippur. So there's a lot of animals, but they threw out all their kachals like they did in Surah. I'm not eating it. He went Rami Bar Tamri, he went and Givaldik, I told you how to eat it. So he went, Azal Iyu Naktino Achlenu. He went, he took them and he ate them. I said, Rav Chisda. They brought him for Rav Chisda. Amalei Rav Chisda said to him, I might have it, Achi, why are you doing this? Amalei Me'asad Rav Yehuda, no. So he responded, I'm for the base of Rav Yehuda, Dachal, we eat the Kachal. Omer lei, v'lescha noisin alav, chomer ha'makam shiatzi b'sham, chomer ha'makam sh'halch b'sham. Do you not hold of the Mishnah that says that when you go from place A to place B, you have to take the chumras of the place that you came from and the chumras of the place where you are right now? So you held like Rav, very good, but now that you're here, you have to go with the chumras that are over here. Amar lei, 2 lines on the white lines. No, I didn't eat here. I took it out of the city. And what did he roast them? Amar lei, beportzani. I roasted them with grape pits that I found near a wine press. Frag them, they asked weiter, how can you roast it with such a thing? Maybe those grape pits are yayin nesech. Amar lei, Rami Bar Tamra on the first white line responds, they're there for 12 months. But then when they got lavai, maybe they're stolen. Amar lei, yesh bailim. No, the owners were miyayish. How do I know? Because they were so old that there was things growing from them. So certainly the owner was miyayish. Chazid Lavimano tefillin. Rav Chisda saw he wasn't wearing tefillin. Amarle, my time alone menachta tefillin. Amarle, Chullin me'ayinu. I have stomach issues. Therefore, I don't wear tefillin. V'amar Rav Yehuda, Chullin me'ayin, pater mena tefillin. Chazid Laviko Rami Chuti. He saw next that he wasn't wearing tzitzis. Amarle, and the last line, my time less chuti. Amarle, talis shuli, it's a bar of talis. Amar Rav Yehuda, and Rav Yehuda teaches us as we turn over to Kav Yoda Mebeis, talis shula, kol shleishim yoim, petura mina tzitzis. So we had all the right answers. How is he allowed to eat it? He needs to take on the chumras. The answer was, he didn't eat it in the city limits. Why was he wearing tefillin? He had stomach issues. Why was he wearing tzitzis? It was a borrowed garment. The story continues at the Hachi. We are on the second line of Kuf Yudam and Beis. Adachi Asulahu Gavra. As they are talking, they brought in front of Rav Chisda a certain person that who was not being Mekayim Kibbut Aveim. He was not honoring his parents. Kaftua, they tied him up to give him alkus. The Bezdin of Rav Chisda had real power, and a person wasn't fulfilling a mitzvah saseh midaraisa, so you're going to give him alkus. Amr loho. So Rabbi Bar Tamri said, Shavkua, leave him alone. Titanya, call mitzvah say, Shamata tzchara b'tzida, any mitzvah say that we know the schar, and of course, Kibbut Aveim is such, we know Kibbut Aveim brings Arichas Yamim. So any mitzvah that Timata Tzchara is taught, the reward is taught. Ein Bezin Shalamata, Muzar and Allah Bezin Shalamata is not commanded upon him, meaning they can't give malchus for it. Amr Lei, Chisda said, Chazil Chad Harifi Tuva. He says to Rabbi Bar Tavi after he has Tamri, after he has the terutim to everything. So I see you're very strong, very sharp. Amr Lei, you have his passage Rav Yehuda. If you would be in Rav Yehuda's city, I would really show you my sharpness. He was remarking that really this was nothing. And of course, there's a depth to what's going on over here, but that's not for now. Let's move on. We move on from the kachal, and we move on to the kaved. As we saw in the previous daf, the kaved is an entity that has dam, yet it is mutter. So Amar le Abayil Rav Safra kisalikta lahasam. When you go to Eretz Yisrael, bayiminayo kivda. What is the story with the liver? Mayatun bay. What do you do with it? Kisalik ashchina Rav Zrika. Amar le anashal kilei. Rav Zrika said, I cook it, Rav Ami ve'achal. I myself cooked for Rav Ami and he ate it. So when he went to Abaye, Amar le Meser Navshei, look Ami Bayilei. The liver itself is not my shayla. Question is whether the liver makes other food that it's cooked with it also. The liver itself has this unique halacha that the dam is mutter. But what happens, as Rashi says, if dama yotzevenu oyser basar acher hamavashali mai, What about the dam that comes out of the liver? Says Rav Safra, 5 lines from the bottom. I don't understand. Itself, you're saying you'll have a shayla. We have a shayla about something else. It doesn't come aser. It is not also lemisa chaverta. Nami loy tebaylecha. Ditana kavir is teres. Einon eseres. Neshi boletes. Veina bailas. So what's your shayla? So Amarlei Abaye responds, Dilma Hassan Bikavda the Isura. Maybe dealing with kavi that is ulcer, like it from an animal that's a treifa, as we turn over to kafir aleph from an aleph. And that's why Mishum Shamnusa. And the Mishnah meant that it's not going to answer anything else due to the Shamnus, the fats that's going to come out, of fats of them. But Mishum Damamai, we don't necessarily have clarity whether a kosher liver, that it itself is kosher, because the dam of a liver is kosher. What about the dam that comes out? Whether that's going to answer something else. So let's continue a job further. Says the Gemara, Ki Hadar Salik Ashchel Rav Zrika. So the story continues, and the next time Rav Safra went to Eretz Yisrael, he found Rav Zrika. And he asked them, what's the story with the liver if you cook it with something else? It's not a shayla. Why not? Yehuda breder of Shimon Pasi. We went to the house of Yehuda, the son of Shimon Pasi. They served us the trachea with the meat attached to it, the lungs, the heart, the liver, and we ate it. So we see that even though the liver is cooked with something else, it's still going to be mutter, says the Gemara. So one last shayla, maskiv la Rav Ashi, vitim Rav Shmuel mezer rukniya v'dama pikana. But perhaps maybe the trachea was outside of the pot, meaning it wasn't all cooked together. Inami maybe the liver was seared together, thereby keeping all the dam inside. He would sear it, he would boil it very hot with vinegar. With boiling hot water. So we don't necessarily have a raya when the liver cooked with something else, so the food is going to be mutter. We'll stop over here and we'll pick it up from this mamish nekuda, how you seal it, you boil it to seal in the dam in the next year. Psiyata dishmaya.